Black belts, this is your sword kata. We're going to go through the whole kata about half speed. I'll break it down for you, tell you all the different pieces and different moves of it. That way you can start practicing and learning this form. So you're going to start with your sword either in your belt or just holding it by your side with the sharp edge of it pointing up in the air. So it's by my side. I've got the sharp edge going up, and I'm just going to hold it in my belt. I find it a little bit easier that way because I don't have like an actual scabbard or scabbard to put it in. And so I'm just holding it there with the blade up with my left hand as if it were in my belt. And then you start, and you're going to need a little bit of room to move forward. So make sure you've got enough room where you're practicing. So your feet are together, your hands by your side. You start with a bow. Your right hand reaches over top of your sword and grabs it. And you're going to turn it so the blade of it, the sharp edge, is pointing away from your body now. And then my right foot, I'm going to step forward into a forward stance, but a little bit less wide than normal. So a normal forward stance, I might be out here. For this one in this kata, I'm going to be somewhere in the middle of a straight line and my normal forward stance, just to make the next transition a little bit easier. So I'm here in my forward stance, and as I'm stepping, I'm pulling my sword out of my belt as if I'm cutting somebody's head off. I just decapitated the guy in front of me. And then my left hand comes underneath. I grab the sword. And then my right foot slides over into a back stance, and I bring the sword over my head into a guard. And then we've got 2 steps and 2 cuts. So your left foot steps forward. You're going to bring your sword over your head and cut down at the angle. And then same thing on the other side. My right foot steps forward. Sword comes over your head, cut down at the angle. And then the next 2 moves, it's a step and a grab, and then a step and a stab. So I step forward with my left foot. I grab somebody with my left hand. As I do, my sword pulls back to my side, getting ready to stab. And then my right foot steps forward. I'm going to take a couple steps back so you can see my feet in the camera. My right foot steps forward into a horse stance as I stab straight out with my sword. And notice the blade of it is down towards the ground. My thumb is up. And then we've got the full turn that we're about to do next, the full spin. Our right leg is going to come up. If you need help with this section of it, there is a video somewhere in this module explaining just this move. But your right leg comes back, your sword tucks, you spin all the way around, back into your horse stance with your cut coming down at the angle. And the next move, someone is trying to hit you in your back. They're swinging either a stick or their own sword at you. So our right leg slides back to our left. You bring your left hand over your head and you're blocking your side. That way you're blocking that strike. And then you turn your sword up towards the ceiling all the way until it's pointing straight forward. Your right leg, the one that was already in front, steps forward into a forward stance as you stab straight out. Next move, your hands, both hands, your left hand lets go of the sword. You're pulling your hands back. Left leg steps forward. You take the right end of the sword, the butt of the sword, and you're smacking someone in the face with it. Right leg steps forward into a horse stance. Your sword comes over your head, swings out. You're cutting somebody in the body, bringing it all the way around towards the back of the room. Your left arm goes out in a spear hand, and your sword tucks under your arm. And then we're going to turn it or roll our sword into a reverse grip. So your sword comes over your head, bring it into a reverse grip. Your left hand comes up to meet it in a fist, and then you bring your sword down into your guard. Now we've got a couple more steps. We're going to do our right leg. It steps forward. As you're stepping, you're going to cut with your sword in front of you, and then tuck it under your arm. Make sure the blade is pointing away from your body. You don't want to cut yourself here. And then your left leg steps forward. You cut out again. Your palm is up as you're doing this cut. And then as it comes behind you, it turns palm down, so that way it can tuck behind your back nicely. And then one more cut. Our right leg steps forward. Your palm is down. You're cutting in front of you. And then your left hand is going to grab the sword. You're catching it. And then your right hand, which right now is palm down, turns over. Now my right hand is palm up. And then my left leg, my next bad guy, is straight in front of us. But we're already spinning. So you're going to keep spinning. Your left leg comes all the way around. That way I can turn my body and strike to the head. Imagine you're cutting someone's head off right here, so it's a head level strike. And you're not really in any type of stance. Your left foot is planted and your right foot is pivoted as you do this cut. Then we're going to do the same cut going to the other side. So you're going to turn your body, pivot your left foot, bring your sword over your head, cut head level. And then we've got the roll in the turn. So your sword comes up to your right shoulder. Left hand lets go of your sword. You're going to roll it down, tuck behind your back, step around, bring it out, and cut up. Make sure you're finishing here in your cat stance. So your right foot, you're on the ball of your toe, left foot is planted, and you're here with your sword. You just did a cut up above your head. Now I'm going to move so I stay in the camera frame. The next two moves, the last bit of this kata, is our dive roll. So from right here, your feet stay where they are, your sword comes around your head, and you're cutting straight out in front of you. And then the next one, your left leg is going to step. Your sword comes over your head again. And then as you do this cut, you're going to do your roll. So you're cutting and rolling at the same time. So I cut and dive roll. I land on my right knee with a right hand stab, left hand high block over my head. And then let me fix my microphone. So I did my stab, my high block. My right leg comes around towards the front. I'm staying sideways towards the front. Your hand comes over your head, down like you're flicking the blood off. And you come back over your head, swing it around, catch it on the dull side of your sword in your hand. And then you slide it up and back into your belt with the blade facing up. And then left leg steps up to your right. Feet come together, hands by side, and you bow. And that is your sword kata. So practice it, memorize it, get good at the individual sections, and I can't wait to see you all testing on this by the end of the cycle.